All right, the 49ers have made another pick. This one at the end of the second round, their second pick of this 2024 draft. It is the cornerback, Renardo Green out of Florida State. It was interesting because Roger Rosengarten the offensive lineman that the 49ers went up to Seattle to work out from Washington. He went the pick before the 49ers were slated to go to the Baltimore Ravens. We don't know if the 49ers were going to pick him, but they ended up trading back one spot with the Chiefs right after Rosengarten went to the Ravens. And then the Chiefs picked Kingsley Suamataia, the offensive lineman out of BYU, in that spot. So one can, you can't assume, but one can speculate that the 49ers might have been interested in Roger Rosengarten, the really fast offensive lineman that seemed that would be a good fit in a zone blocking scheme. But instead, when they couldn't get him, when the Ravens were able to get Rosengarten right in front of the 49ers pick, the 49ers did trade back a spot. With that trade back, the 49ers were able to get a fifth round pick, a swap, a fifth and a sixth round swap. So they gave up a six and they got a five from the Kansas City Chiefs. Anyway, you want to know about Renardo Green. Renardo Green has average speed 4.49, but he's an instinctive player. He actually led the ACC with, I believe that's a mistake down there, 14 pass breakups last year. I'm going to fix that for you so the information is accurate. Leading the ACC with 14 pass breakups last year, 5'11 corner. The speed isn't awesome. It's not bad either. He's a guy that I think plays more on instincts than on pure burner speed. And the 49ers probably really like the way that he plays the position. When we talk to John Lynch at the end of the night, I'm sure that he's going to mention that Renardo Green played 2 seasons of safety for Florida State, and he's also played that cornerback position with those ACC best 14 pass breakups. For that reason, I think that he might be Brandon Staley's star. I talk about the star position for the 49ers. That is the versatile DB position that their new defensive assistant, Brandon Staley, has entrusted to Jalen Ramsey back with the Rams, and then Derwin James with the Los Angeles Chargers. I think that Diamaro Lenore is going to see some of that adaptability in the back end, lining up both inside and outside. But we've seen in the past, especially with Derwin James, we have seen Brandon Staley run a more safety-based star position. So he likes somebody that can see the game from center field, and he likes them to be able to pivot into that position and also come down and cover in man coverage as a cornerback. The 49ers do have a need for cornerback. Obviously, we talk about the need for offensive line, but with only 4 cornerbacks, with their top 4 cornerbacks under contract for only this one season, that is Charvarius Ward, Diamaro Lenore, Rock Ya-Sin, and Isaac Yiadom, all those guys only under contract through 2024. The team does have to think about 2025 and beyond. And they do have to tailor this defense, this evolving secondary, to what Brandon Staley is going to want, because Brandon Staley's on that whiteboard. I think he's trying to allow this defense to take the next step. Nick Sorensen's there to bring it back to the basics after things didn't work out with Steve Wilks. Brandon Staley, with his adaptable defensive coverages, especially in the back end, he wants to bring it to a level of greater versatility. And I do think that Renardo Green is somebody that the 49ers, with his safety background and his cornerback background, can do that. So instinctive player, that's something that I see at the very top of the scouting report for Renardo Green. A little bit of a polarizing player because, a lot of people will draft based on, especially in these higher rounds, based on the speed. They want the corner to run 4.3, 4.4 flat at the slowest, but closer to 4.9. Not 4.9 would be really slow. Don't worry about that. Closer to 4.5 for Renardo Green. He's about 5'11", maybe close to 6 feet. I think right in between 5'11" and 6 feet. 186 at the combine, 191 pounds at his pro day. The arm length is about 31 inches for Renardo Green, a good 37.5-inch vertical. He's a decent athlete. We didn't see him do the 3-cone drill. I'm really curious to see what the time there would have been, to see if he's got a little bit more quickness in the short area than straight line speed. But, when you look at the tape, and I've watched a little bit of this, and I'll report back when I have a little bit more on Renardo Green. But when you look at the tape and you see the pass breakups, you know that he's around the football and you know that he makes plays. And I can guarantee you, again, when we talk to John Lynch, when we talk to Brandon Staley, I think that his nose for the football, Green's nose for the football, is going to be something that the 49ers definitely look at. He exploded in his last season, coming off of, he played corner in 2022 and 2023. Before then, the 2 seasons at safety. But his last season, those 14 pass breakups, up from 5 the year before, despite the fact that he played in the same amount of games, 13 games. Second team All-ACC for Renardo Green, who is from Orlando, where we just were for the NFL owners meeting. So the 49ers, with the trade, they have an extra 5th-round pick now. As of this moment, the 49ers are only slated to pick once more tonight, but they can obviously trade back into, they have more capital now with that 5th-round pick. They could trade back into the 3rd round. They're picking in the 90s in the 3rd round. Tonight is the 2nd and the 3rd round. You want to talk about offensive linemen. Obviously, Rosengarten is somebody that we thought the 49ers were very interested in. Kingsley Suamataia, we also thought they might be interested in. Those 2 players went the 2 picks before the 49ers picked. I doubt that Kingsley was somebody they would have picked, but Rosengarten really might have been a tackle that they wanted to grab. I look further down the offensive line list for the 49ers to Caden Wallace, somebody that I mocked to them earlier during this entire process out of Penn State as a 4-year starter at right tackle, a whole lot of experience. Seems like he could be somebody with a nice, I think, decently high ceiling for somebody who might be available in the mid rounds. I would look for Caden Wallace to potentially be a 49ers target coming up. Remember, we're far from done right now in this NFL draft. That's 2 picks down for the 49ers with 8 picks still left to go. A little bit earlier today, we met the 49ers 1st-round draft pick, made his way all the way with his family to Levi Stadium from Arizona. That was Ricky Pearsall. I'm going to quickly open one of the pictures here of Ricky Pearsall so you guys can all take a look. Obviously, it's probably going to take a little bit longer for Renardo Green to get to the team facility, but we were able to meet Ricky Pearsall a little bit earlier today. Here it is, Ricky Pearsall and his family. His dad was an All-American receiver at Northern Arizona. It was cool to chat with him for a little bit and obviously chat with Ricky Pearsall as well. This is the entire family at the stage, on stage at Levi Stadium. And after that, the 49ers have picked cornerback Renardo Green. So San Francisco goes receiver and then corner here in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. Round 2 is over. Round 3 is coming up. One more pick tonight for the 49ers. We'll see which way they go, but they have taken care of 2 positions I think that they've needed. Obviously, insulation at receiver. We talk about the 2025 focus when you might not have Deebo Samuel on the roster anymore. Probably going to have to pick between Samuel and Brandon Ayuk after this season for cap sustainability. By the way, no trade of Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk at this point. That was never likely to happen, and it's looking exceedingly unlikely to happen right now. But you look at Ricky Pearsall as somebody who can really fortify that receiver position in a way that the 49ers, I think, can use this year as far as beating man coverage, but can really use numbers-wise next year. Well, that's why they got Renardo Green. Next year, they only have who under contract? It turns into slim pickings after this season for the 49ers under contract at that cornerback position. You're going to start to talk about thrusting Darrell Luter Jr. into a starting position next season, maybe Samuel Womack into a starting position if you don't re-sign the necessary players. I think Deommodore Lenoir, a candidate for being re-signed. I think Charvarius Ward, obviously a candidate for being re-signed. We'll see how Isaac Yiadom plays. We'll see how Rock Yassin plays. But Renardo Green, the instinctive cornerback out of Florida State with those 14 pass breakups, he is now a 49er. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon.